This is the lecture on women's rights. We've touched on this before. Women did not have the right to vote. They could not own property. They could not write their own wills. They didn't have any legal rights. They had to go to court if someone was widowed, if a woman was widowed and declared herself a woman alone in order to own property and pass the property on to the children. But this is an age of reform, revival and reform. God talks to women, so maybe women are equal. And there's the new developments in the relationship between husband and wife as well. Marriage is seen a bit differently than before. And so there are conflicts here, and of course, they began to get interested in public issues. The women reformers that we talked about were involved in the temperance movement. They were involved in abolition, and they also involved some issues dealing with women in prostitution. And so this is a new era in which women take this role in public roles. Their involvement in the abolitionist movement is very, very strong. Some of these women, the Grimke sisters, they're well off. They are women alone. They finance speakers. They finance the movement, and they're out in front. And then they take the role in pushing, financing women's rights. They saw themselves, as we've said before, themselves chained, themselves enslaved in some way, and so they moved from abolition of slavery to women's rights. And this is very evident that there are problems when they're not allowed to participate in a convention on abolition. There is a very strong movement and women gather in Seneca Falls, New York in 1848, and they discuss issues related to women and women's rights. And they issued this Declaration of Sentiments that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal. Whoa, it seems ordinary for us today, but this is big in the mid-1800s. So big that that some of the women at the convention were not quite ready to sign such a bold statement. It's that groundbreaking. Susan B. Anthony herself is going to petition the issues of divorce and property, owning property, and in fact attempts to vote. Goes into the voting booth, demands that she get a ballot, will not leave, and gets arrested for trying to vote. This is of course going to throw everything off balance. The order seems to be way out of order and balance, and so you get an impression, you get an idea by these two factors, the Declaration of Sentiments and Susan B. Anthony's attempting to vote, as to how strong, how difficult those barriers were to break in the middle 1800s.